if it's not as widespread as we once thought it might be. We didn't just go live, did we?
Yeah, we just did, so I'm going to start over. I forgot. I don't know why I forget to do this with you guys, but I do it with all my other shows. So we are live. So I guess we are taking you around the NBA now. Justin, start over on the Ben Simmons news, please. I apologize.
Perfect. It's fine. No, all good. But basically, yeah. Just saying that we talk about who does Ben Simmons think he is, and talking about just saying that his value has probably never been lowered. Well, that is true. His value around the league is still relatively high, looking at other players. And, just talking about, what does he think he's doing? Does he think he has this kind of power? I think he does. And the fact that, just as we were saying, sure, maybe his value's never been lower in the league, but I also don't think it's his responsibility. And in fact, it's not his responsibility to raise his value. I think he's made that very clear. He doesn't care where he ends up at this point. It doesn't even seem like he just wants out. So I think there's still plenty of interest in him around the league. It's not up to him to help the Sixers find a better partner, to find a trade. He just wants out, and I think he's going to get it. So, yeah, I think what Ben Simmons is doing is, considering what he wants reasonable. We don't know the entire story of the relationship with the Sixers. Obviously, he just wants to be anywhere but there. But, yeah, I think Ben Simmons doesn't owe anything to the organization if he wants out, as far as reporting to camp and trying to help the Sixers get an easier time finding a trade partner, because it's just not his job.
Okay. Amadou, I'll go to you, buddy. How you?
Yeah, I'm in agreement with Justin. I mean, right now you can say his trade value is probably the lowest that it has been of his career, but still, he's still a player that can be your best playmaker, facilitator, and your best defender. That skill set is rare. Obviously, there's the offensive issues, which are really big. You talk about the thing that in today's NBA, you probably need the most, and he isn't good at that. I don't know if he's not good at that, and he just doesn't do it, in shooting. So it's whatever. But I don't know, man. I mean, some of this is on the Sixers. Obviously, both sides I feel like are in a little like petty war or whatever, I guess. But you can't blame Ben Simmons for saying that he doesn't want to be there. Talking about Doc Rivers in that interview after the Sixers had lost to the Hawks, saying that he doesn't know if Ben Simmons is that guy for us, to win a championship. It makes sense as to why, he stayed pat on not wanting out, because I don't know if those emotions have changed, internally for the Sixers. I mean, they can try to do, damage control now, say things like Doc Rivers said, I think in an interview 1 or 2 days ago, about talking about how like he does think Ben Simmons can be that guy to help them win a championship. I think that's just them looking to keep a player who's been on the team for 5 years now. And that's, the second best player on that team. But if we're up to me, I think, honestly, you'd probably look to move on. It hasn't worked. They've tried many, many things, made a lot of aggressive moves, and the result has always been the same. So, yeah, I just think it's over between those two. A trade could happen as soon as next week. I wouldn't even be surprised. So, yeah.
Dan?
Funny, by the way, I think it's just hilarious that Doc has tried to walk back some of his previous comments.
Yeah.
He clearly said, at the end of last season, doesn't know if, he can be the point guard of this team. And not only said, I didn't mean it that way, or, I was wrong to say that I was a heat of the moment, but literally said, I didn't say that. I just thought that was an interesting walk back, and doesn't make the Sixers look any better in this situation.
Yeah, I mean, but I pretty much echo what these guys have said. It's at this point, it's just a situation that just seems stale. Both sides really need kind of a fresh start. Ideally, just because with Joel Embiid clearly has had his issues with Ben Simmons. We all remember the, lack of dunk, layup, whatever you want to call it. Was just kind of seemed to be a microcosm of how that situation has unfolded. And again, he's a really, really good player. I'm not denying that. I mean, he's probably a top 30 player in the league, but it's just, there's a lot of, it's not a player that I think really in the playoffs can really carry he does a lot of things really well. Justin is very high on him, and rightfully so. He's arguably the best maybe defender in the league. So, I mean, I get teams maybe like the Cavs that might want to kind of pivot to him and try to build around him. But As Amadou alluded to, I'm personally not the highest on him just because the glaring issue is still when push comes to shove, the scoring it takes a lot and a creative offensive mind to I think really be able to really be a contender truly with him is kind of your centerpiece type guy. And again, I just think of the Cavs. I don't see that really being the case. It's not really a player I would uproot my entire future for. That's just me. But again, it's really talented player, but can't blame him for how that situation has unfolded. He's just him and his representation. I just have to do what they have to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand what all you guys say. We're also going to stop going to Justin first after the questions because it seems like he just answers everything and we all say we agree. So we're going to switch it up a little bit. So I was out of the loop on this. This is the other big NBA story I saw. What is going on with Kyrie Irving? I'm out of the loop. Like I don't know. Would they try to trade him or what happened? Anybody?
I think there was a report that Stephen A. talked about. I don't know where Stephen A. gets these sources from.
It's like a Kyrie Ben thing, right?
Yeah, the Kyrie for Ben Simmons. There was that one. There was another one with Nick Wright, where Nick Wright talked about how like if Kyrie didn't want to get, I don't know exactly what it was, but essentially it was like something that Kyrie didn't want to happen. I think it was a Kyrie trade too. And that they said that if Kyrie didn't want to accept the trade, he'd just flat out retire.
Yeah, that was a couple weeks ago, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think it was like 3 weeks ago or so.
Yeah.
There's also something that came out, I think like, I want to say a couple hours ago that like New York has basically like a vaccine mandate and he reportedly is not vaccinated and says could miss Nets home games to start the season. So we'll see here.
I mean,
the Andrew Wiggins problem.
Yeah, there's also that too. So who knows? It's kind of classic Kyrie, just trying to. It's almost like he's paid by the views at this point, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, the report is classic Stephen A. reporting. I feel like. I mean,
we've known it's reporting in quotes.
Yeah, we've known the report of Kyrie would retire if he got traded for weeks, and Stephen A. now comes out and says that they would have traded Kyrie for Ben Simmons if Kevin Durant didn't get in the way. It's all just opinions and speculation. Like, I'm not saying that there's no.
Sounds like somebody we know among
Cavs reporters, huh?
Not Cavs reporters.
Well, not reporters, but Cavs tweeters, we'll say.
Hearsayers, maybe. I don't think that's a word, but
we'll make it a word. But I don't know if I doubt that Stephen A. has talked to Kevin Durant. Maybe he has. I'm not going to say definitively it hasn't. But it all just seems like complete speculation as to what might be going on inside the minds of people. And I don't know. I don't take too much away from it. I don't really think the Nets would necessarily do that anyway. So not to say they couldn't, but a Ben Simmons for Kyrie straight up. I mean, the Sixers would take that in a heartbeat, but I just don't really see the Nets doing that. That just doesn't seem to make sense. And then, I mean, it makes some sense. Like, I'm not saying it doesn't make any sense, but and again, like I get that Kevin Durant would block it, but the cultural, kind of thing the Nets are building with those three guys, throwing Ben Simmons in that, I just don't know how it would work. So it seems more like speculation than reporting. It just kind of gets misrepresented as reporting, and that's where everything flies off the rails.
Well, I'm all about speculation, so that's great. I maybe I'm the only one, but I think that would be a great trade for the Nets. Durant and Harden get to shoot 40 shots a game, and Ben Simmons just passes them the ball and then plays defense for them. I don't know.
I mean, it could work, but I just don't see them doing it.
I don't like it at all for the Nets.
Culturally, he would not fit in with guys like Kevin Durant and James Harden, I don't think.
Yeah, I think it's also the fact that he's still, still pretty young in addition to, and they have a lot. I mean, some other young pieces that are going to be players for him, and I think that also it could be like a disconnect in terms of how Kyrie is close with. It seems like those two other key guys, their big three too. So yeah, again, it's just Stephen A, which you take it for what you will.
All right. Well, unless anyone else has some really big, does anyone have another like Dante Exum scoop or anything like that? If not, then we're going to move on to the 2019 redraft. My thoughts were the same thing as yours, Dan. When I finally looked at it, I thought it was a really weak draft, and then Justin kind of said it's not that bad. And you kind of look over it, it's not terrible, but I don't know. It didn't have the star power of the 2018 draft, I thought. So,
well, there's some intriguing pieces. I mean, you also have like Porter Jr. Tail end of the first round, as we know, guys like PJ Washington, like dudes in that sort of realm. Like Cameron Johnson is another one, but not nearly what the last one had.
Not at the top end. It's deep though.
Yeah, definitely. All right, you want to just kind of go with our 10, or do you want to do what we did last time, or what?
I think it's Cam froze again.
I think we froze again.
Yeah.
We'll give him a second here.
All right, from other ones that I've done on StreamYard, it happens occasionally, but it's not a huge deal. It seems like from what I've heard, it seems like StreamYard is pretty quick for editing and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
At least that's what Mac was saying, but not sure if he's used that though.
I think Justin just said that his Wi-Fi was cutting out, so that might.
Right.
I know that struggle.
Yeah, I completely get it.
So, guys, who do you have going number 1 in the 2019 redraft? Big question.
I got a job, but
let me see.
Do you actually?
Huh. Yeah, I do.
Oh,
well, I
just
guess
I'm
because
gonna save the conversation.
Yeah, well, we can save the conversation. I had Tyler Hero personally, but
right.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
I like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. I didn't have Ja, but I had another.
Yeah, I'm sure most don't.
You know.
I would probably had Cameron Johnson.
It's only just because
he fits on every team.
He does. He's like I mean, him and Bridges are fairly similar.
Yeah. I don't know. I like Cam Johnson a lot, though.
Yeah,
Cam Johnson's solid. Love Cam Johnson.
Didn't they?
Okay, I'm sorry. Looking at this
redraft, I think
Bleach report.
They traded up, and I think they traded down after something like that. I'm not sure. I think it was they traded down, right? That was a Dario Saric trade.
That was the Dario Saric trade.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that was what from like 6 to 11. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was Jared Culver, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I was a somewhat fan of Jared Culver coming out. I'm not gonna say it wasn't.
I didn't. I thought he'd be able to do something off the bounce.
He might be salvageable, honestly. Where's he at now? Did he stick on Memphis? He's still on it, right?
Yeah, he's still on Memphis. He has enough. I mean, Memphis is going to have to cut like 3 or 4 guys, so we'll see. But he's probably going to be one of the ones to stick. I mean, Memphis is still rostering Daniel Oturu, Carson Edwards. They had to guarantee Sam Merrill's salary, but he might not make it.
I think Carson just is an obvious cut. They have so many point guards.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Dunn might get cut. There's plenty of guys there. This team has John Morant, DeAnthony Melton, Tyus Jones, Chris Dunn, Carson Edwards, John Conchar.
I like Conchar too.
Conchar's not bad, but
I mean, not as much
as
another
point guard on that team.
Not as much as Lockdown Cavs loves John Conchar, but
yeah,
they're obsessed with him. I swear.
Free agent target number 1. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he just
Yeah,
I'm just trying to. I figure I might as well do my write down my redraft now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I may as well just do the same. Let me
I mean, I don't know.
Let me get an official list going so that we can jump right into it. Typing. So, all right, Tyler Hero number 1.
Yeah, right.
Brandon Clark number 2.
I feel like he might be available. I don't know.
Dude, just saying, the fact that Darius Garland is like multiple spots behind Brandon Clark is interesting on this.
I like him, but not. Got to be objective. Like, come on.
Taylor Horton Tucker number 3, of course.
I don't get the.
I don't get it at all either.
I really don't.
I don't get it.
I don't know what he would be outside of there. I don't know.
I don't know. It's a clutch guy, though. You know, they have to always just boost their.
You already know.
Value, yep.
Yeah, that is true.
All right, where are you guys at?
Do you guys have?
We've just kind of been. It's just kind of been banter as we waited for you to get back. We talked.
Grizzlies, it wasn't any
other stuff.
Oh, I apologize. I tried to message you guys. If that happens again, just leave. And I apologize. I super apologize.
No, you're good.
You're good.
It happens.
It honestly happens. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going in and out right now. So if you guys want to do this maybe another time, because I can't guarantee it's going to stay on. Or if you guys want to keep going, we can keep going. If
I'm good to keep going. Honestly, like the next few days, I might be kind of busy. So if we want to just push through, I'm good pushing through.
All right, that's fine with me. Like I said, I really apologize. I'm sorry, guys. All right, but I guess we're back to the 2019 redraft. So just to make it quicker and obviously a little bit different than last time, I think we should just go down. Each person give out their top 10. Dan, I'll start with you.
All right, so the first might be a little bit of a hot takey one, but I had Ja first. Then I had Zion, RJ, then Garland. Then I actually had PJ Washington number 5, DeAndre Hunter number 6, Cam Johnson from there, Kobe White at 8, Chuma at 9, and then I had Thibault at 10. So.
Amru, you can go next. I'm still kind of putting together my back 3 or so.
Okay. Number 1, I had Zion. Number 2, I had Ja. Number 3, I had Garland. 4, I had RJ. 5, I had DeAndre Hunter. 6, I had Kevin Porter Jr. 7, I had Tyler Hero. 8, I had Cam Johnson. 9, I had Matisse Thybulle. And then 10, I had PJ Washington.
Okay. Justin, do you have a list? I'm still struggling with these last couple. No,
I'm only at 4 right now. Yeah, I can get through it though. No worries. I'll let you can do it. I agree with you, Dan. I think people are gonna disagree with this, but I think Ja would have been the number 1 pick if you redo it. I just don't think Zion. I don't think it's a lot of his fault really, because in New Orleans it's been like a fluid, constant moving situation. But I really like Ja. I think he's improved his outside shooting a lot, and I really like him. I'm also a Duke hater, so that's probably why. But I don't even want to take Zion 2, but obviously you have to. And then I agree. I think Garland goes 3rd. I think RJ Barrett will eventually kind of fill out, but he's kind of inconsistent right now for me. And then I went with PJ Washington as well at 5. At 6. This is the last as I've gotten. I really like Kobe White.
Oh, cut out again.
We lost him again.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll just get into my list then, and I don't know if we want to. We can just kind of pick it up and just kind of run with it. But so my list, I had Zion at number 1. I really didn't even think it was that close, honestly. Like
I didn't either.
I understand the injury concerns that come with Zion, but I think looking at a guy's situation that he's coming into and the lack of success he's had with his franchise is when you're looking at where you would take a guy in the draft, I think it doesn't really factor in at all. I still think Zion is like far and away the best player in this draft.
I think in the
Oh.
Did we lose him there for a second? But either way, yeah, I just we'll see how the Zion development curve, ends up playing out. I think obviously everyone was insanely high on him at the beginning, and it's obviously died down a little bit. But I still think he's going to be an insane player. I think he's already easily top 20, pushing top 15 on this in the league. Sure, he's a safe thing. You know what he's going to be. And if he, really adds the pull-up game, just the shot creation from the outside, going to be, another serious problem. And that warrants him for number 2, I think, clearly. I think there's a clear top 2 in this draft still. But
really quickly, the Zion injury concerns, are they do you think those are for real? Because I feel like he's had one bad injury situation his rookie season.
Mm-hmm.
And this year he was relatively healthy. He missed only 11 games.
Mm-hmm.
That's more than guys like Giannis, more than LeBron played, but of course LeBron had his ankle sprains, whatever. He had more games played than a lot of these star guys, and that's not talked about as much as I think it should be.
It probably should be talked about more. I just think it's his body type and his build and his play style. Those questions will always be there.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think that should be a concern to the point where you don't take him number 1. Like I said, I was really kind of surprised to hear that both of them had Ja number 1, just because, again, I understand it's a safe pick maybe from an injury standpoint, but the upside with Zion is so much higher, and it's not like you said, Amadou, it's not like the guy gets hurt every 5 minutes at this point. I mean, he did deal with some stuff his freshman year, or I mean, his rookie season rather. But had a relatively healthy freshman year of college. He dealt with some stuff. Obviously, the shoe blowout happened, but overall, I don't think it's safe to assume that he will be injured the rest of his career. It certainly could happen, and maybe he's a little bit more susceptible than other people. But I just think it's unfair to put it on him that that's going to be something that he deals with the rest of the way. But I had RJ at number 3. I think he really started to put it together at the end of last season. I just think having a wing that can do what he does, if the shot creation again from the outside, and just the overall 3-point shooting in general looks as legit as it did to end last season, then he's going to be really, really, really good. I think he's already, very capable defender. Playing off of Julius Randle, I think the biggest thing he needs to be able to do is to space the floor and be able to kind of attack those closeouts just off of the passes that Julius is able to create. And I think he's going to be able to do that. So very, very comfortable putting RJ at 4, but I do think Garland is right behind him. Or putting RJ at 3 rather, but I am very comfortable putting RJ at. Sorry, I'm messing up. Garland at 4. Again, I think Garland put a lot together last season. I think he's going to be good. I think, the serious star upside kind of drops off a little bit after Garland at 4. I think the best guy, at least the guy with the best shot at becoming an all-star. Yeah, we can see you, Dan. But the guy who has the best shot of being an all-star after Garland at 4 would be Keldon Johnson. And I had him at number 5.
Oh, okay.
I'm a big Keldon guy. I think he has probably the most upside out of any of the Spurs players. Really like him. Fearless driver. I think, what we saw with Team USA, not so much throughout just because obviously he was such a limited role, but especially in those exhibitions when we got to see him kind of play his game a little bit more, just fearlessly attacking the rim is something that he's really, really good at, and he's going to be able to do it easily in the league as well. During the season, they went through a stretch where he's putting up 20 a night, and I think, again, the shooting is never going to be an elite thing with him, but if he does it well enough, I think that there's serious all-star potential with him. And then the rest of my top 10, DeAndre Hunter, just think he's going to be a good starter for a long time. Kind of the same thing with Cam Johnson, who I have at 7. PJ Washington at 8. I have Rui Hachimura at 9. And then as just another upside swing, I have KPJ at 10. I guess I should say, of all the all-star guys, I do think that KPJ has all-star upside as well. Okay. But obvious other concerns there that make him drop just a little bit over some of the sure things that are there in DeAndre Hunter, Cam Johnson, PJ Washington, Rui Hachimura. I think those guys are just safe picks as to where I would take them ahead.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just had shooting is kind of the key for me. Is kind of a differentiator. And PJ Washington, I think next year we'll be able to see him at the 5 a little bit more too. And I think that can kind of unlock more of him as well.
Justin, I didn't hear this name. I don't think I heard it. I don't know if you said it. Tyler Hero. Not top 10?
No. I think he's probably in that 11 to 12. Like if I had to look all the way through, Tyler Hero is probably, let's see, who else did I leave out? He's probably 11. I would have him ahead of Lugan Stort. I would have him ahead of Kobe White. I would have him ahead of T. Steibel, all those guys. Like I do think that Tyler Hero is a fine player. He's a contributor, obviously, on a good team. I don't see the star upside in him. I just don't really think the off-the-bounce stuff has been enough. I don't think he's a good enough defender. I don't really think we've seen enough from him as a playmaker. I think they really kind of wanted the Tyler Hero at point guard minutes to work out, and they just really didn't. I don't know. I've never bought into the hype really with Tyler Hero, really ever since he was drafted. Like he was impressive as a rookie compared to, where he was drafted. But again, if you value shooting, more so than other things, maybe you put him in there over Rui or KPJ. But again, I just think he's good as a shooter. Maybe provides a little bit off of a couple dribbles and is able to, get into some pull-ups off of those. But overall, I didn't put him in my top 10. But not like it's a big gap between 10 and 11 either.
Yeah. Solid, man.
What did JB say in the old group chat?
You basically just said keep going, and then he can upload it and or do editing from there, and just to let him know when we're done. Are you guys hearing an echo from me? Is that?
No, I'm not hearing an echo.
Nope.
Huh. It's weird.
Are you hearing an echo from you? Like, is it just you?
Yeah, if it's just me, it's fine. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I don't hear it.
Okay.
Well, I guess we got to break down this Dante Exum contract, don't we?
Yeah, right.
I seen it was like just really.
It is actually an interesting contract.
Is it like a full non-guaranteed contract? Like
not full. So this first year has basically 2.5 million fully guaranteed, with I believe like 2.5 as well, and likely incentives. So they count as like on a cap hit, they count as guaranteed money. But obviously, if you were to get hurt or whatever, like that wouldn't count. And then he has a little bit more in unlikely. And then years 2 and 3 are totally non-guaranteed. But he is getting a guaranteed 2.5 mil, which is more than I thought Dante Exum was going to get this offseason.
I seen there was an incentive for his on-off numbers, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure what the incentives are. I missed that, but I know that it on the surface it's a $3 million or a 3-year $15 million deal, but literally like none of that but the 2.5 is guaranteed. So like if he stays on the court and plays well enough, like he'll get more money, but the chance of that happening, unfortunately, are probably not that high.
Yeah, I don't know about that contract, but if that's what was out there for him, I mean, good for him.
I don't know. The Rockets did some weird stuff. I don't really know why they paid Daniel Tice. Like Daniel Tice is a good player, but like he just kind of seems to be overlap when you just drafted Garuba and Şengün, and you have Christian Wood, and you're like seemingly planning to keep Christian Wood. Bringing in Daniel Tice seemed weird to me. And like you can play Christian at the 4, and they're probably going to start Wood and Tice together. But I just thought you'd want more of those minutes for the 2 young bigs that you drafted. But
they even played Tate at the 4 some too. That's a
that's the thing. Like they're gonna have
Kenyon Martin, right?
They have Kenyon Martin and Tate. You're probably
seems like he's ideally a 4 too.
Oh, I think they're both like non-negotiable 4s. Like, sure you can run them at 3, or maybe you can run them at 5 in spurts in the right lineups. But like, I think both those guys are pretty comfortably, preferably 4 men. So. just pushing Wood up a position by adding Tice, which is like a fine player that's not really going to move the needle for you on a team that like is a long way from needing that type of player. Like I didn't really understand it, but
I guess maybe they're thinking it's kind of the like Mason Plumlee kind of thing last year with Detroit, and maybe it's just kind of a leadership and stabilizer guy. But
see, like Mason Plumlee was taking minutes from Isaiah Stewart, okay, but like Isaiah Stewart still played plenty of minutes, and Jahlil Okafor, like Sekou Doumbouya, maybe I don't know, like there weren't the big mesh of 4s and 5s on this team that it's not like Detroit had that same issue. So I guess I can understand if you just want that kind of veteran presence and veteran leadership on the floor, but like Christian Wood couldn't have done that for you.
Yeah, apparently
Eric Gordon can't do that for you if you're going to keep him.
I guess maybe they're behind the scenes really considering trading Wood, but
like you would think that Tice is, but like it hasn't happened yet.
I would think Tice at almost max is a deadline guy anyway.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Who knows?
Yeah, and I think that's a fair point. I think Tice is someone who will have at least some value at the deadline. Like looking at his deal, he's making what?
It's over
8.2 this year, 8.7 next year, 9.1 the year after that, and then a team option after that. So like for a team that like has a gaping hole at center, maybe team has interest, but like you are committing to him if you're trading for him, and there might not be that many teams out there who want to commit to 2.5 years of Daniel Tice at that point at the trade deadline. So not to say that he's a bad player, not to say that that's going to be a bad contract at any point, but like you are going to have to commit to him because it's not small money and it is for multiple years. So
it's almost like a Jetty type.
It's kind of a Jetty type, and that the last year is a team option. Jetty's year is non-guaranteed. It is increasing money. It's not declining money. And it is a little bit more overall than Jetty's. And I also think Daniel Tice has proven to be actually helpful NBA player too. That helps.
Yeah, that's more the trade-off, but you make a reasonable point.
Yeah. Well, do we want to talk about this 2007 finals at all, or should we save that for next time?
I was going to say, you might want to save that because that seemed to be a crucial part of this. So
we can save that discussion for the
I would say just do
next
that
episode,
for now.
Maybe next week. That's something that'll hold well.
I would think Mac would probably want to chime in on that one too. But
yeah,
we
that
just
seems like
touch
a good
on
Mac, a good Zach Weiss type of episode.
Right.
The guys who have probably more solid memories of that era of Cavs basketball than at least I do. Like I probably I watched some of that finals, but I don't have any clear takeaways honestly from just watching it. So
I don't know, maybe we could just touch on the I don't know if you guys want to do the Cavs ESPN ranking takeaways or do
ESPN put out their top 100, didn't they?
Yeah. So there's that, or we could touch on the top 10 that ESPN had, just overall, whatever you guys want to do.
Let me pull it up.
I didn't even see the top 10. Do you want to we can just touch on the Cavs rankings and then the top 10?
That's fine. I don't know if you guys
I don't know if we can pull up.
Do all that. Yeah.
Can we pull up just the Cavs? I was going to say, let's just do the top 10. They have Harden
Did they
at
reveal
10.
the entire top 10?
We don't need to do it in depth, but Harden at 10, AD at 9, Dame at 8, Embiid at 7, Jokic at 6. Oh, man, they're not even released the top 5 yet?
Yeah, I don't think they've.
Apparently not, no.
Yeah, I don't think they have.
Well, maybe we can save that for next time, too.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I mean, we've been going for 35 minutes at this point. Do you guys just want to wrap it up here?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, we can.
Well, I was just going to say, Amadou just did an article, reacting to the Cavs player rankings. And we could maybe just touch on that.
Sure. Yeah.
So, Amadou, you want to kind of start there?
There's three things. Okay, so this ranking, I guess, I don't know if it was a ranking or if it was like a projection of where these players are gonna be next year, because they said it was both in the article, or whatever. Either way, I don't know how you can look at what Garland did last year and say that he was of the four Cavs, to be put on. It was him, Markkanen, Allen, and Sexton. I don't know how you can say that he projects to be the worst or he's the worst currently of the four. That didn't make sense to me. Two, in some of the rankings, they had like Cade Cunningham over Garland, which I touched on an article too. I mean, I understand.
I think that's honestly like a fair bet.
You think so?
I think Cade's going to be really good right away.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's crazy.
My only thing, the whole thing with rookies too, it's just they haven't played yet. I understand it's ranking, but it's like
I think they should just keep rookies out entirely.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I'm kind of with you on that too.
Yeah, because it just they're putting rookies over guys who made All-Star games last year. I just don't know. And then they had Buddy Hield. And Anthony Edwards, I've had some time to think about it. I understand that, I guess, if you want to project him to be better than Sexton next year. But Buddy Hield over Sexton now or next year doesn't make sense to me at all. That was my only three issues with those.
Yeah,
I'm going to ask you this, on
Buddy Hield now.
If you had to rank just these four guys, what order would you rank them in?
I'd probably go Sexton the highest, then Garland. Then this might seem crazy, but then I go Markkanen, then Allen.
I would go kind of in the opposite direction of I think Allen was the best player kind of to finish.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I did mine off projecting how they would do next season.
Oh, well, if you're projecting, and I think I guess you can factor in a little bit of both, but just kind of off the information we have present and like not projecting any like huge leaps, I think it would be fair to put Allen first. Then Sexton, then Garland, then Markkanen. Like I think obviously like you can predict that Markkanen bounces back, whatever, but like I mean he was fine in his role, but like Markkanen is like very, very borderline top 100 for me. I would have been disappointed if he was left off entirely. I mean, obviously, I'm very high on Garland in the future. Probably, again, we've discussed before, higher on Sexton as far as like what both of their ceilings are. But like in the meantime, I do think Sexton is the better player, and I think he'll probably be the better player next year as well. Even if we do continue to see more of those flashes, and again, barring a huge breakout season from Darius Garland, which could happen. But I just think the polish that Jared Allen had last season that he's going to take into this season, along with another gradual bump of improvement, I think it would be safe to put him at number one for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd have Sexton first now. Then I'd have Allen, then DG, then Markkanen. I'm kind of with Amadou as far as just what we know Sexton is. I think he can get to another level, really. And maybe some improved supplemental playmaking around him could help the off-ball growth, too. I think that'll happen this year. And maybe a little bit better spacing as the year progresses well, too. And then as Justin hit on, we know what we'll get most of the time when Jared Allen is healthy. One of the better finishing bigs in the league, vertical spacer, very effective defensively most of the time. And I'm not going to say he's switchable, but can, against perimeter players more so than other fives, kind of hang in for a couple dribbles, but very impactful in the paint. And I think there can be some shooting growth we'll see next season, but we do need to see him actually have the freedom and or willingness to take those shots. So we'll see, but that's how it seems right now for me.
Solid.
Yeah.
Well, do we have anything else we want to get into?
I think that it's probably good for this time, but still good amount of content for people to get into, and there's a couple key things that I think guys like Zach and Mac would want to get into as far as 07 and maybe a little bit more Cavs rumor stuff, but I think it was still solid.
Yeah, for sure.
Good, definitely.
Well, I think we can wrap it up there then. For King James Gospel Roundtable. We'll be back. I'm sure Justin will have fixed whatever issues he's had by this time next week or whenever this, the following episode goes up. But everybody who watched, everyone who listened, thank you for doing so, even through some of the bumps and bruises. And we'll talk to you again next time.
Yep. All right.
Thanks, guys.
And I'm not sure how to stop the recording on this.
I think it just stops on its own. I'm not sure either. I guess
If we just leave the studio, it'll stop.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
All right.
Well, hey, good talking to you guys.
Definitely. All right.
Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Oh, something we could have talked about, I guess. Are you still there?
Yeah.
So we could have talked about the Charge a little bit. I think Nate Ranking, their
that's right.
head coach last season, as I think going to the Cavs bench, and Dan Garreau, is that he said maybe?
Yeah, it's Garreau.
Garreau, okay, is the new head coach of the Charge, but
yeah, I was thinking that too. Is a little bit discombobulated though.
Yeah.
I admittedly it would kind of be better to do this on Zoom, and then if you have to extend it, that seems like it's viable. But I'll have to ask Zach because what's the limit as far as how many people you can put in Zoom? I don't remember.
I don't think there is a limit. At least I don't think. The only thing is if it's more than 2 people, that's where you run into the time limit issues. So,
okay. Yeah. I think it's at 40 minutes, you just have to send out a new link or something. And then
it stops the recording at either 30 or 40 minutes, and then you have to do a new one.
Okay.
But yeah, it's.
Yeah. I feel like that would be, maybe he does this because it's easier to edit, but.
That's honestly why I stuck with Cast for so long. Because as soon as especially when I had to do a lot more of the work, Cast does a lot of the stuff for you as far as mixing the audio and making that sound even and nice. And the fact that you don't have to do separate parts and put it all together. So
right.
That's kind of why I always prefer doing something like this, but I also do understand that you don't run into as many internet issues, at least not as many when you're on Zoom, I feel like. And at the end of the day, if your Wi-Fi is cutting out, your Wi-Fi is cutting out. And that's going to be a problem regardless. But
right. I'll run that by him and see what his reaction is. But I have actually, I just was peeking around the last time, and I think he's done these pretty often, but I don't think it's been it seems like it's been often with 1 or 2 other people, or it seems, I don't know if I have seen him do 3 or more, but we got to iron this out before the next one. I'll figure that out.
Yeah, we can do that. But, yeah.
So I think it's probably fine for us to just leave, right?
Like I said, I think is that what stops the recording? Is if we just leave the studio?
I think so. I'm not that familiar with StreamYard, but
what's up?
I'm not.
Oh, hey, you're back. What's up, man?
Sorry,
I
guys.
We kind of wrapped up already, but
all right, cool. I'm really sorry about that. Super embarrassed.
No, it's fine.
I had to plug in my Wi-Fi, so I tried to move rooms. I apologize.
It's all good.
But I'll be able to get I'll be able to get the audio download and everything, and I'll send it to you guys tomorrow.
That's fine.
Sounds good.
I just wanted to make sure that I stayed on to see if you
if this
said recording stuff.
Yeah, for previous future, if this ever happens again, which if it does, I will probably know prior to, and we won't do it. But all I have to do is come in and just click end broadcast for it. And it doesn't matter. This thing can go for like 40 hours, but I'll just have to cut it in the audio, so we're good.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for coming on, guys.
I meant to ask you too before we leave.
What's up?
What is the closest Swenson's to downtown Cleveland? Because I'm going to be in Cleveland on Saturday. I got to try it.
Oh, shit.
You asking me?
Closest. I would probably say in Seven Hills. There's often a Swenson's food truck in public square too.
Okay. So. Like I said, I'll find my way to one way or another. I've heard too many good things about it to have not tried it up to this point.
It's solid. I think I used to like it a lot more. Now there's a lot more locations, so it's kind of the quality isn't like it's a lot better at like the original like 5, but it's got a unique some unique shit. But get the Galley Boy. That's all only thing you need to know.
Okay. For sure. Well, I appreciate it. Like I said, absolutely no worries, Justin. Like connection issues happen. It looks like we may have lost him again, but it happens. I know the pain. But all right. Well, hey, good seeing you, Dan.
All right, you too, man. Thanks, Justin.
Yeah.
The other one.
Yeah, both Justins if they're here.